welcome back to Musselburgh. And as you can see, we stood on the edge of one of the shallow lagoons, a whole complex of them here. And earlier we saw that they're fantastic places for birds, but they're brilliant places for all kinds of other wildlife too. And here in the UK, we have an estimated 500,000 ponds. That doesn't include your garden pond. Now, you might think that's good, but worldwide, since 1970, we've lost 84% of freshwater biodiversity. Here in the UK, we've lost a lot of our ponds to neglect. They've been filled in, invaded by alien plants and fish and so on. Now, there are about 3 million garden ponds, but many of those are unsuitable because they're full of fish, and the fish, of course, will eat all of the native wildlife there. Now, Jake Greenhoff from Bristol University, he's devised a very innovative way to work out the health of our water bodies. He listens. He records the sounds going on below the surface. Then he analyses that data and he can work out which species are in the water. And he does that using a hydrophone.
He does indeed, and we have one here. We've rigged this hydrophone. Now, let me just put these under here and let you have a good look at this. This is an underwater hydrophone. You can see the housing there. Now, I'm going to venture into slightly deeper water, hopefully not as deep as I went when I was practicing this earlier. I managed to flood my wellies. So I think that's going to do this time. And this is going to be a bit noisy now because this is a really sensitive microphone. So as I lower in, you may hear a few noises, but once it's underwater, we'll just let it settle and have a listen. A lot of gurgling sounds. And to be fair, even if we had picked up some sounds, we might not know what we're listening to. So we actually pre-recorded some audio earlier and we sent it to Jack to see if he can help us out. And this is what we sent him. That is the sound of an aquatic insect calling with a technique called stridulating. Now, when Jack listened to this, he reckoned this is the sort of thing it might be. This is what it might look like. Now, this is an aquatic insect. It's in the family called Corycidae. This is what it looks like. Take a look. So, in the family of Corycidae, more commonly known as the lesser water boatmen. So there's a whole bunch of them. This is just one of many species that you'll find in the UK.
Right, did you know that the water boatman, for its size, is the loudest creature in the whole world? It can emit sounds of up to 99.2 decibels, and that's like you and me sitting in the front row of a theatre listening to a full orchestra. We'd be blasted away. And stridulation, do you know how they do that?
I suspect you're going to show me.
I am going to show you, and it's fascinating. Now, they have a series of ridges along their abdomen. And what they do remarkably, and I am going to show you, is that they rub their penis along the abdomen, like this. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And that noise is all about attracting the opposite sex. Stridulation, water boatman, never forget that. Never forget that.
There you have it. But I tell you what's even more remarkable is Jack's research is leading him hopefully to the point where he'll be able to use those stridulating calls of various aquatic insects to help him identify them down eventually to species. Now let's have a listen to one of his field recordings. This is a raw recording. Now this sounds like crickets at night, doesn't it? Just remember, this is underwater. These are aquatic insects. A whole bunch of them stridulating together, a cacophony, a chorus, an underwater chorus. Absolutely amazing sounds. Now, what he did is he started to isolate individual calls in that mix of calls, and this is what he found. There was one species that sounded like this. I love this. This is a rhythm, then a plop. So good. Now this is one species of a genus Cigara, and he's still working through all the different sounds and different species. Now, the way he does this is he creates these sonograms. Now, the yellow box there, that's what we were just listening to, and you'll see this very regular pattern in the waveform. That's those little cracks that we heard. Now, that is Cigara. But look at the red box here. This is a completely different pattern, a completely different waveform. But not just that, it's at a different frequency as well. And the more he's looking into this, the more he's finding that the different individual species are using different bandwidths, different frequencies. And this helps them to avoid cross-chat, if you like. It means they can tune in to individuals of their own species. It's an amazing adaptation called acoustic niche separation. I think this is such cool research. Can you imagine all of this going on in your garden ponds at night? Have a listen, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely amazing stuff. Now, after all that science, all that stridulation, I think it's time for our mindfulness moment. So sit down, relax, because for the next minute and a half, we want you to enjoy winter starling murmuration.